Is there an N95 mask for kids? No. From all my research and as much as I've been searching for the last month, there does not seem to be an N95 mask for kids, but I think I found a pretty good alternative that hopefully will keep my son safe while he goes to school. N95 masks are designed to seal against an adult's face, and that's a typically sized adult. These are made for people like me that work on wood, work outside in construction. They're not really made for a child's face. So here's the Flow mask. As you can see, it's a little bit small. If I were to try to put it up to my face, it would really only cover my mouth. Not really made for adult faces. It's really made for children. So here we have two different products from Flow Mask. We have the reusable face mask for kids, as well as the sub-micron replacement filters. So inside each box, I'm gonna just open it up so you can see what you're getting. The box itself, it's pretty standard little cardboard box. Inside, it comes with a carrying bag, a quick start guide. So the guide really just tells you more information about how you open the mask up, how you attach the straps to each of the little grommets on it, and how you remove the little safety filter. So here we have the different parts of the mask. I went ahead and took it apart just so you can get an idea of how the mask is constructed, and I'm going to go over the kind of pros and cons in my opinion. It comes in 6 different pieces. There are 3 different pieces of the mask itself. There are 2 straps as well as the filter. The primary part of the mask is actually a gasket attached to plastic. One thing I don't like about this design is actually the fact that this rubber gasket is made of a kind of textured material that actually attracts dirt and dust very easily. A nice thing about this mask is the fact that you can take it apart. So there's no nooks and crannies you really have to worry about. Once you take this top part of the filter off, you can really get underneath, kind of scrub it, wipe it down as much as you need, and I think it's pretty good in terms of construction that way. So putting the mask together is actually a little bit tricky, but putting it together would take you about under 2 minutes, I would say. These little snaps snap in really firmly, so I like that. There's a little cutout right here so you can take apart the mask as needed. This I would definitely do the day beforehand just to snap it in, make sure that it's fitting correctly. It can be a little finicky at times. It's not something that I've enjoyed doing in the mornings when I'm half asleep. And you take either of these loops, you fit them over the knobs themselves. As you can see, they slip on easy enough, but that's not something I would really expect a 7-year-old to be able to do. If you know you have an active child that's going to be running around snapping the mask on and off, it has come apart a couple times on him. That's one of the things that I'm not a big fan of, but at this time I do like the 2-strap design because it allows him to fit it to his face to make sure that it fits the contours of his face perfectly. So in terms of the pros of the mask, I like that it comes with a sub-micron filter already. Even if it didn't come with a sub-micron filter, I think it's very easy to replace this filter. It looks like the typical N95 material that you would find on any N95 mask. So that's one reason I actually like this mask in case I do run out of filters and Flow does not have replacement filters easily available. As you can see, this little patch of filter material could be removed or could be cut out of an N95 mask and could be put into this mask very easily. So I think that's a huge pro for me. So another pro I like about this mask is the design of the mask itself. It has a gasket just like professional respirators that you would find in a hardware store. As you can see, it's very similar material. It's that rubber kind of gaskety material. This one is not as thick. I don't know if you can see that, but I would estimate it's about 0.5 millimeter. This, I know, you can't tear very easily. Like if I rub it and I pull at the material, this is not going to tear. Some of the reviews I've seen on Amazon have mentioned that this gasket material can tear. So it's something that I would actually take a little bit of extra care to make sure that you are very careful with this material. On the other hand, I do think it actually helps with making the mask more comfortable for my son. He's mentioned multiple times that he has no problem wearing this mask all day, and I think a lot of that has to do with the gasket itself. Another thing I like about this gasket material is the fact that it's contoured and it seals to the face. This will conform, so no matter if your son has a smaller nose or your daughter has a bigger nose, this will flex and will accommodate just about any size face. Another pro about this mask is the fact that the filter is tightly sealed in the mask itself. As you can see, this little plastic piece sits over the mask. This little lip right here actually allows it to really fit snugly against the mask, and the filter does not move around. If I take it and I snap it back in, I am worried that these snaps may break, so it's something to keep in mind. You have to be careful while you're putting this in. It's something that I hope they take care of in future iterations of this mask. But as you can see, the filter itself sits very snugly inside the mask. It doesn't move around. When you jiggle it, when you try to move it around, it sits there because of the lip that's fitting it directly against the other part of the mask. So a big pro for me is the fact that it comes with 2 adjustable straps. These straps ensure that the mask will not sag and will not go down too far. I don't know if you've seen a lot of those fabric masks that fit over your ears. A big problem I see with those masks is they always fall forward, especially when you're talking. Your jaw has a tendency of pushing the mask down, and this won't do that. This mask actually sits on top of your child's face, so as your jaw or his or her jaw goes up and down, the mask has no way to actually go off of your child's face. In terms of cons that I wanted to cover, one big con in my opinion is the fact that it's very expensive to start with this mask. The filters themselves are relatively cheap. I would say they're about 50 cents per piece. But the mask itself is $50. That is something that we really considered, because for $50, if you had to buy multiples of these, that can add up really quick. So another big con with this mask is actually something that my son informed me about. He's mentioned to me a couple times that the sweat on his face will actually collect in the gasket itself. I've encouraged my son, once he's outside of the classroom, he can take his mask off. He doesn't have to deal with the sweat as much. So hopefully that helps address that con. Another big con is the fact that these straps are not easy for children to take on and off. I know my son, when he takes it on and off, he's a little rushed and he will snap it off, and this will come right off. So at that point, he needs his teacher to help him put it back on. And the final con that he's mentioned to me is actually something that I think is a good thing. He's said that it smells kind of bad inside of the mask, and the only reason that is the case is because his breath smells bad. So it's something that we need to encourage him to brush his teeth a little bit more. But that tells me that the filter is actually working, and it's making sure that anything that's supposed to be inside the mask stays inside the mask, and anything that's outside the mask doesn't come into the mask itself. Do you need an N95 mask for kids? As far as I can tell, no. If your kids can keep their mask on, keep a nice hermetic seal around their face, you shouldn't need an N95 mask for kids. But if your kids are anything like my kids, they might need a little bit of help along the way. And I think the Flow mask is a great alternative for that helps keep a safe seal around your kid's face. I hope this video was helpful. If you like this content, please like and subscribe for more. And ask any questions, I'll be keeping an eye out. Thank you.